Hello, everyone.
What is up, Mr. Pankard?
It's a sad day in the world.
Why is it a sad day? Oh, well, you mean, yeah, it's not a great day. Yeah.
We
Some
can
unfortunate
we say,
things.
can say it explicitly. It's a shitty day. I think it's okay to say it on the day like the one that we're witnessing. We didn't even talk about it before the show, but I am still shocked.
Yeah. I've been sending messages, to my Ukrainian friends and stuff, and just I don't know what do you say in these kind of situations. Just hope everybody's okay and their family is safe and things like that, and wish them well and
I
hope it
just can't
doesn't.
get over the fact that this still can happen in the modern world in a European country, and yeah, it's unbelievable. I think this is the day when I have the least motivation to do this show. To be honest, I mean, we'll do it, talk about everything, but I don't know. I think there are not many days that compare to this one in my life.
Yeah, no, well said. I mean, it's one of those things where it's weird to pretend like life is normal,
Yeah,
and we do all the normal things that we do and work and stuff. But yeah, there's an element of the show must go on, but the show must go on with respect and with
absolutely.
acknowledgement and with good wishes and condolences to everybody who's suffering through it, and with support to everybody who's suffering through it.
I mean, we also know Ukrainian founders in sports tech who run their companies, and now the government tells the citizens, "Hey, you have to hide in bunkers. The alarm signals are in those cities." So it's just surreal. Anyways, yeah, I think it was. I think it's important to highlight this at the beginning of the show. We'll do the show, but I believe couple weeks are not gonna be so full of joy. I'm afraid. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, I think the only thing that we can hope for is that there's a quick resolution, or things move along quickly, and that the world rallies around as it will do, as it is doing in some way, to find support and to find a decent resolution which protects as many people as possible and as quickly as possible. I think that's the only thing we can hope for. So yeah, full energy, good energy to everybody.
Absolutely. Luckily, you can distract yourself a bit today to come to nicer topics. As you
Yeah,
can
actually,
this again somewhere else.
true. It hasn't been the biggest week of sports tech news, I would say. There's been a few stories. We'll bring you the top five as we always do. But yeah,
I was
some.
more referring that the guy over here, there, is in a different city again, like he
Oh, right.
announced. He's in Dubai, and there's a wedding happening, not his. That's never gonna happen, most likely. But yeah, still some festivities, right?
Yes, there are some festivities going on. I'm at a friend's wedding, as Ben said, in Dubai, a city that I'm visiting after 14 years.
Oh,
Yeah. 2008 was the last time I was here, so it's been a while.
it changed a bit, huh?
You know what? It's changed, and I'm sure it has. Like, I don't know the landscape and the topography of the city and like how many new buildings have come up. It's different in a lot of ways, but it still feels like this is Dubai. This is the city. There
Wow.
are buildings everywhere, and there are malls everywhere, and there's a lot of,
Yeah.
um, yeah, there's a lot of cement and concrete and all glass and steel and these kind of things. But this is Dubai. This is the city that you come for, and it's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time. I'm lucky too in this moment, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Dubai.
Enjoy it, my friend. Enjoy it.
It's a new form of the same. I don't know how best to say it. Yeah,
Same but different. No, other way around.
yeah, something
No.
like that.
Different but same. I don't know. All right. By the way, yeah, Ron is flying back to Berlin on Sunday. I'm flying back to Berlin on Monday. So next week is going to be the first episode of us being back in the German capital.
It is true. Berlin, our home, which we have not spent much time in the last few months, but
True,
yeah,
true.
we'll find our way back.
All right, 5 minutes into the show, I think it's time to talk
Yeah.
about some sports tech as well, right? First news is a funding news. A company that I think we've been observing for quite a while, who has made some headlines. It's called Tagboard, and they have received $8 million in funding. And yeah, it probably makes sense to explain what they do. Best is this part probably to read a cloud production platform for live content, which lets the broadcasters and the leagues incorporate certain graphics, especially social media related, onto the on-air coverage and also the in-stadium videos. So basically, and that's also what's said in the text, the big task for all the production companies, all the content producers, is to make content more and more interesting, also interactive, engaging, all of that, you know the story. And Tagboard is one of the, I would say, leading companies in that field. We can quickly move on to their website just so that you get an impression here. So what they basically do is take live content. I think we have some as an example here. So what you see here on the upper right is the live screen, and then you can just drag and drop different content that in the back end during the live show you can change and embed into that live stream. And it can be basic stuff like names or tweets or something like this, but you can also do more fancy stuff. I think I've seen this somewhere here. Let me see. I'm not sure exactly where that was. Yeah, here. So I don't know. You can do some polls, some quizzes, so stuff that brings the viewer into the discussion, into the content. And like I said initially, it is available not only for on-air content for TV production, or it is also available for in-stadium entertainment. And of course, there it gets interesting if people, I don't know, in the stadium scan something, be engaged, and all of that. Yeah, that is the company Tagboard, and I'm just trying to open the news link again because I wanted to mention what they're gonna use the funding for. I don't know if you remember that, Ron. But I think they said they want to expand internationally as well.
Yeah.
I remember that correctly. Where
Yeah,
is
they just
it?
want to make product a bit richer, get into a few new markets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the typical story, right? So
Yeah.
expansion to Europe. Yeah, on the tech end, they're gonna improve, and they're also gonna add trackable QR codes so that viewers also have a second screen experience related to the game actually. So yeah, good story, decent amount, good positioning, fitting the overall sentiment and trends. Good story, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a significant. It's not a huge fundraise. I mean, we talk about $8 million. I guess it's not a huge fundraise. That's a big chunk of money, but it's in a space that's interesting. Video production or any sort of automated content creation and distribution is an interesting space. We talked about WSC Sports raising 100 million last week on the show. Yeah, they're of course very different companies, but addressing the same core need, I would say, creating interesting content in an interesting way and making more engaging for the user. So yeah, cool space, cool company, good investors. Let's see what they come up with.
Sweet. Speaking about investment.
Yes, Benjamin, this is a story that I am quite partial to. I know we've talked about this lightly in the past. Actually, this news story broke in April last year. Well, okay, my ads today are telling me how do I can invest $250 in Dubai and get a second income. Ben, are you interested? Probably not.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, for tax reasons potentially, but
Tax. Hey, Dubai's tax free, by the way.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
saying.
no, I
Just
know, I know.
But yeah, anyway. So New Zealand Rugby has finally agreed, and I say finally because this was a story that broke in April of last year. We didn't actually cover it on the original version of the show because we thought it might not be as relevant for the audience. But I think today it makes a bit more sense because New Zealand Rugby has found themselves in a better position than last year when Silver Lake, of course, a VC firm that we know pretty well, they've invested in City Football Group and amongst other sporting properties. They came back for New Zealand Rugby. Right? Here's what they've invested. They've decided to invest $200 million. So it's about 135 US, which at a valuation of nearly 2.5 billion, which is what New Zealand Rugby. Now, please understand, this is not a private enterprise. This is the governing body of the sport in the country that have allowed a private investor to come in. So as the ratio says, we don't know why this is a ratio. I would imagine the calculation will be pretty clear, but it's somewhere around, say, 6 to 8% that Silver Lake will take. Now, what they've also got, and this is the interesting one, where the similar amount was offered last year for 12.5%. So New Zealand Rugby has done better in a year's time. Now, I was looking up the story about why they did better, and I couldn't really find a great commercial reason. New Zealand Rugby hasn't had a breakout year. They haven't won anything particularly big or done anything big in this last year. But I think it's just the economics of global sports in some way, which is giving them that appreciation and valuation. Anyway, so that's what's happened right now. Silver Lake has got into VC investment. What they will also plan to do, then you have quotes from NZR boss and what they plan to do with the sport. They will invest, I think it says somewhere here, 37 US directly into the game, which will also go through to grassroots levels. That's about $25 million or something. But Ben, we covered the WNBA raising investment from private investors. I think it was a couple of weeks ago when we did the show. We've talked about this in the past about sporting institutions raising VC money, because the VC money is getting into New Zealand Rugby at this point in time at $2.5 billion. You would imagine that they want to take it to, 25 billion at least in the next, 5, 7, maybe 10-year kind of period. So they're looking to push a sport in a pretty small nation, in a pretty small sporting market. Let's be honest about what we feel, what the rugby market is. There are not that many countries that play it, yet they're bullish about it. They're bullish about what they can create. They're bullish about, I guess, what they can generate out of broadcasting rights. I think this is it's an interesting statement to make about the sentiment of how different sports can grow. And if they have the right money, maybe they can do it.
Yeah, good points. Absolutely. I always, when I read those headlines, I can't get this strange feeling out of my head, because it's like a VC firm owning a sport in a country, so to speak.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know, maybe I'm too old school already, but it feels weird about it. And I think there are other ways to push a sport. And what else immediately comes to mind? It is a VC firm. We know how they operate, what their goals are, what they're going to do with their stake, right? So I don't know if this in the long run can be good for New Zealand Rugby, or will be good. Understand where they're coming from. They get decent investment. If they use it well, if they keep the vast majority, like they seem to do, maybe that's the way to go. We will figure it out. It's one of the cases where you don't have too much that you can compare it to. And somehow I would also differentiate between a league like the WNBA and, like I said, an entire sport in a country, a national. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there are lots of smart people involved. They must have their reasons. If I would be New Zealand Rugby, I'm not sure if I would do this, but I mean, obviously, I don't have all the information.
I think the most interesting part of the story is that the fact that the deal was rejected in April last year, and Silver Lake came back with a better version of the same deal less than 12 months later, and it was accepted then. It was rejected by New Zealand players, in fact, was the movement that were most against the deal the last time. And this time, I guess they said, the money is too good and we can't say no. And maybe the position of rugby is actually, in a weird way, gotten worse, even though they got a better deal, but their leverage position got a bit worse. That they said that they kind of had to take the money. And now, where does this take them? I agree with, or I have similar concerns to you, but maybe there's a better output for the end of it. Let's see. Only time will tell.
Yeah. I prefer sticking to the classic VC deals. We have lots of them today, it seems.
Yep.
uh, Peloton for X might still be a thing. We thought it took a decent hit. It might not be so hot amongst investors anymore. We talked a lot about different smart rowing machines. There's another one that we want to talk about today. This time it is a company called Aviron. Is that how you would pronounce it?
Aviron.
Aviron,
Yep.
Aviron, Aviron, let's go for Aviron. They announced Series A, 18.5 million, so more than Tagboard. Hope that is a better amount that you can deal with. And they got investment from very good investors. They want to expand. They want to improve their tech, all of that. But I think what is the most interesting part is also, again, the gamification and Netflix integration part. We've seen a very similar product from Norway. I always forgot their name.
PlayPulse.
I'm sure PlayPulse, exactly. PlayPulse, where you have a spinning bike and you can basically steer characters and vehicles in video games through your activities. And also, if you want to watch, let's say, a series, a movie, you can only watch it if you keep spinning. And that's pretty much what Aviron also does. There's not too much in the article itself. Led by Stripes, some new investors, Global Founders Capital, Formic Ventures, and 24-Hour Fitness founder Mark Mastrov. And like I said, hiring engineers, software developers, expand online presence in US market, and like they said, most importantly, new content and features, amongst them a Netflix integration. And if we take a quick look on their website, just making sure that you get the right and full impression of their machine. So you see those beautiful human beings working out and at the same time, playing video games. So there are always two opinions on this. The one camp says you're looking on screens the entire day. You should basically get rid of it and finally do some workout and relax. And others might say, "Oh, that's great. I'm getting so motivated by doing some gamification stuff while working out. This really helps me to exercise." I'm not sure. I've never properly tested a solution like this. What would you say? Are you like the classic pure exercise guy, or would you prefer working out while watching a series or something like this?
No, Ben, I'm a really pure exercise guy. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say about that, but
Flexing the muscles. I'm a pure exercise guy.
no, I mean, apart from actually for me, okay, I'll quickly answer your question. Do I want the screen in my workout? Yeah, maybe I would try it. I don't know. I've never really tried it, so I don't know how I feel. Maybe if I really got into it, I enjoy working out in that. But I would try it. I'm not opposed to that. But for me, almost the bigger question is this trend of Peloton for X. Almost we felt already was a bit old, maybe 6 months ago, and now in a moment where, with all the news, we've actually been covering the story quite a bit about Peloton potentially getting sold, the potential drop of I wouldn't say the fall of but it's definitely dropping off the connected fitness market as people rush back to gyms and they want to get back to that whole social experience of working out. Is an investor like the Global Funders Capital, Formic Ventures, Mark Mastrov, whoever, are they a bit late in the game, or is this could be still a thing? That's what concerns me. Number one. Number two, this product is already up against a really big incumbent like Hydro, which we've covered a lot on this company. So you've already got Hydro, which is a secondary player in a big market like connected fitness. Now you're going to a secondary player in a secondary market. You know what I mean? Like it's a few levels off the potential of what Peloton is, and that big market that these guys are all deriving from, that itself is in trouble in a way. So
exactly,
the downflow of this market, is this still the right time to be making these investments? Again, as we've covered before, investments are made by maybe smarter guys than us, but I'm not so sure. I wish obviously the best to the Aviron guys, and I hope they can execute. But let's see how this actually plays out.
I fully agree to all what you said. And what always disturbs me a bit, I mean, at the end, you have so many machines. All of them have different systems. All of them have a screen. So wouldn't it be much better to just make them, design them in a way that you can just put your iPad there or put it in front of a screen that you anyways have, so that you also from a manufacturer perspective that you don't always have to make sure it's a good screen, do the maintenance for that, all of that. I mean, you've seen that with many treadmills, right? Many just have like little
Basic,
thing on
yeah.
the front that where you can put your iPad and do whatever you like.
As you have, Ben. Yeah.
That's true. In my kitchen, not much space. Interesting story. If you ever see me somewhere, let me tell you the story about the treadmill in my kitchen. And I mean, now I'm spoiled with running around Cape Town, so
Right.
it'll be hard to get back to Berlin next week. But no, I'm just saying. I mean, it's just it feels like it's too much somehow. Too many devices, too many screens. I'm a bit skeptical.
Yep, let's say we're in agreement on that one. All right, moving on to more positive stories, perhaps, is Comcast, NBC. They've got 10 more. They're signed up with 10 more startups who are joining their Sports Accelerator program. Though, to be honest, Ben, I don't know if we missed the story or maybe it was just me. I didn't remember them doing a big application cycle and doing the whole thing again. But they've announced 10 more companies that are part of this accelerator program. So a new cohort, effectively. They launched the program last year, and they were, as you can see, there are a lot of successful stories that the companies from the first cohort have already done. They've launched a couple of big partners, WWE and PGA Tour, are part of this cohort. But more importantly, let's take a look at the companies. Now, there's a lovely one quick para where Sports Pro Media has summarized all the companies that are listed. So there are social networking and fan engagement services such as Ice Cream Social, Local Sports, and Meet Lead. Yeah, fair enough. I always like these punny kind of names. There's a marketing platform called Uru Sports, gaming firm, which I guess in some sort of gaming/betting. I'm not entirely sure. I was looking for the websites of these companies, couldn't find them straight away. Venue Technology, Book Seats, and Tip Tap Sports. And there's also Performance Specialist, Headvantage, and Movers, which is visual analytics. Anyway, these companies are in different areas, so you get a sense. There's a bit of fan engagement. There's a bit of marketing, which is like B2B side. There's gaming, which is an esports. There's venue tech, which is again on the B2B side. And then there is super performance specialization, companies like Advantage and Movers. So it's a few different areas: fan engagement, B2B, high-end performance. So a few different areas that these guys have covered with this latest cohort. But the rest of this is pretty simple. They want to do over the next 12 weeks, they'll work one-on-one with a bunch of companies, help develop their solutions. Also, they will get more pilots. This number of 29 pilots, I would imagine, will get much larger by the same time next year. And we'll see what these guys come up with. We'll, of course, keep a track on these 10 companies and let you know which of them are actually breaking through and getting some good solutions. But I found it most interesting that we've seen a lot of accelerators have like clear themes, but this was a bit of B2B, a bit of fan engagement, a bit of it was almost like literally they covered our entire framework. They got a bit of everything.
Two things. A, it doesn't happen very often, but when I read the article, I did not know any of the companies they have chosen.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Typically, it's one or two where like, okay, we know them, we've seen them. Sometimes even more, or the majority. I think first time that I didn't know any of them. I didn't look it up, so I don't know what they do in detail, but absolutely good observation that it's a wide mix. And while they cover a lot, I'm always wondering what did they not cover and what topic is missing. NFTs,
I wonder,
Metaverse.
I don't know how to spell that. Is it with M or with P?
MFT.
MM?
Mutual
Manufacturer?
fungible token.
Mojo? Okay, let's go.
Side stories, every morning I go down in this place where I live and I order a mucho cappuccino in this Vidai coffee place that I go every day. And the great thing is, of course, they know me by now. They start preparing the mucho cappuccino before I even have entered the place. I feel very much at home here.
Very welcome. Well, nicely done, Ben. But all right, how is that mucho? Is it mucho cappuccino? What is the different about it?
It's
Like,
just a
how's it?
slice. And medium is mucho in their
Okay.
system. You know, it's Starbucks has the grande and whatever. A medium cappuccino is the mucho. Mucho fungible tokens are missing from the Comcast accelerator. Is that a surprise? What does that mean? Maybe nothing. Probably nothing. What do you think?
Is that a surprise? No, I wouldn't say it's a surprise. I think maybe they said they have 800 applicants. I think there is, it's difficult to say saturation. It's too early in the NFT market, but there needs to be something new. I think there has to be a wave of something fresh and new because there's a lot of companies that are doing much of the same. And I don't know who all applied to this cohort, but I think that to create that differentiation and really what is the value, because there are a ton of companies that everybody already knows about, which already do a bunch of things well.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't get applications to bring something fresh enough rather than just get another NFT play because it's an NFT play, just to cover a topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that was it. I don't know. That's my guess. Hey, hopefully it was the 10 most deserving companies rather than just, hey, we want to take or consciously avoid this topic, which is also not great. If they're trying to stay away from NFTs by ignoring good companies, that's also not great. So I hope it was the 10 best startups that applied. That'd be my take.
Others dive deep into the metaverse, and sometimes in interesting ways. And I'm curious to hear your opinion about the next topic.
This is my signal for Ben's smooth segues.
Come on, I'm doing my best here. All right, here we go. Yeah. So the NBA has introduced Coach NAT, which stands for NBA Augmented Telepresence. I would have loved to hear the process that ended at this name. So there was the NBA All-Star Weekend in Cleveland. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver introduced Coach Nat as the coach of the future, and I'm reading now, who can teach the game of basketball to anyone in the world inside the metaverse. And I don't know, but I immediately wait a sec. I immediately got a very cringy feeling when I was watching this video. So this is Coach Nat speaking to Adam Silver, and I have muted the video now, but it's the voice of Shaquille O'Neal. It's the voice of Shaquille O'Neal. So, and yeah, they're having a discussion, and Coach Nat says with the Shaquille O'Neal voice, I can coach you, I can teach you everything in the metaverse. So yeah, it's another innovation initiative by the NBA. And yeah, I think the press release and everything was very, very small. So I think the idea just is, if you want to learn basketball, you put on your VR goggles, and somewhere in the metaverse you meet Coach Nat with Shaq's voice, and he teaches you basketball in the metaverse. I don't know exactly.
Sorry, quickly. I'm going to jump in with something. For me, didn't this Coach Nat remind you of the Iron Giant for some reason? Do you remember that movie? Did you watch that movie?
Of course I did. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's seen the Iron Giant, right? That's Vin Diesel's voice, by the way, with Iron Giant, and you've got Shaq, which is, I don't know. For me, can I just say, the NBA for me rarely gets innovation stuff wrong. They're usually super on point with anything that they do. This just feels rushed, almost forced in some way, that they just wanted to get something out there in the market. And because even the animation is not great, the guy doesn't look great. What he was saying didn't sound, I mean, Shaq's voice is not a great voice to be learning basketball from. Yeah, big man, get ball to big man. Sorry, that's my bad Shaq impression. Yeah. Hey, it's better than Coach Nat, all right? Anyway.
I mean, it feels like, okay, there's the All-Star game. We have to do something with
Yeah.
NFTs and Metaverse. Let's introduce. I mean, it was even with President Obama, right? I mean, he was also
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I completely forgot that detail. I wanted to mention it. Yeah, and like it's almost like when Barack Obama does something in the room, like you feel, hey, that's got to be good, right? And then I watched the video and I was like, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, and basically right now it's an animation. It's a video. It's
Yeah.
pre-recorded. It cannot do nothing at the moment, right? So yeah, that. I mean, yeah, it felt a bit not so ideal, but let's see. Maybe we're wrong. I mean, at some day we're gonna own an Oculus if we can finally afford one, and then we can test it ourselves.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'll say it again. The NBA rarely gets things wrong, and I'm not saying they got this wrong, but it wasn't great. I don't think anybody's going to give this, say, "Oh my God, this blew us away. This looked really cool." It looked like product launch from, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It looks super, like it's 2D. There's some video playing, and it's pretending to be something. I don't know. Maybe there was some stuff. And as you rightly said, the article didn't provide too much detail. And okay, fine, fair enough. I didn't spend too much time googling other articles. I don't know if you did, but it didn't seem like there was much to that story. It's just like, hey, we just put like a little press release, get the guy on stage, get a video, and let's put this out there into the metaverse. And yeah, seemed a bit
No
rushed.
timeline, nothing, no details. They tried to be funny in the video, wasn't at all. Yeah, it is
Did
what
work,
it is.
but interesting news still.
Before we close this week's episode, what's your plan this evening?
Well, my plan this evening is to get out into the streets of Dubai to have some hopefully really good Pakistani food. Like I said, there is. I'm coming back after 14 years. I landed day before yesterday, and haven't been out much because they've been like between work and running around stuff for the wedding. There hasn't been much time to get out. But I would like to go visit the spots of Dubai that I remember, and not the glitzy, glamourly Dubai that we know. But Dubai has a little bit of heart and soul behind all the plastic veneer. I hope to check that out. Some good food. That's my thing. Some good
Same here,
kebab.
going for some good food with some friends as well. So
That's all.
looking
That's
forward
life.
to it.
That's all we need.
Exactly. Sweet. All right,
I
guys,
look forward
that's
to
it
getting
for this
good
week.
food and drinks with you, my friend. I will see you in Berlin soon.
Absolutely.